Video games centered entirely around an environmental message aren't completely unheard of, but they can sometimes be a hard sell. But what if it could not only be heckin' cute, but also completely free? Pinnacle Studios' Tadpole Tales is just one such game. Released on Steam and itch for Windows PC on March 12, 2021, Tadpole Tales is a horizontally scrolling self-proclaimed clean-em-up that had our attention since late 2020. So let's see what it's all about. The river is being polluted by 3 powerful, toxic monsters, and it's up to the player to clean it up one creature at a time. Let's be honest, we all get a little grumpy when we need a shower, and the aquatic animal life is feeling pretty aggro thanks to the kind of sludge that's covering it up. Thankfully, our heroic tadpole can blast away the grime on the river's fauna to help them return to a normal, happy, squeaky clean life. To get the job done, Tadpole Tales has a very simple control scheme that PC gamers will surely be no stranger to. A typical WASD setup will move the player's tadpole around the screen, and the spacebar will shoot little blobs of water at whatever needs a good scrub. Easy enough, but there's a bit of a catch. There's no real controller support in Tadpole Tales, which might not be a problem for some, but it was a little troublesome for us. Thankfully, Joystick came to the rescue and I was able to use my Xbox One pad with no further issue. Tadpole Tales is a rather straightforward game, just clean everything covered in toxic sludge. But there's also a neat power-up system that ties into the tadpole's life. Players start with just 2 hearts. Get hit and a heart is lost. Lose all of them and pop goes the tadpole. But from time to time, various bugs will appear flying across the river. When shot, they can sometimes drop hearts, which can be used to recover lost life or increase the player's life count to a maximum of 4 hearts. Golden bugs are what you want to look for because they will always drop a heart. Here's where things get neat. At 3 hearts, the tadpole will grow into a pollywog with a faster, larger shot. Collect a 4th, and the pollywog will grow again into a short-tailed froglet, its largest form complete with a triple spread shot. While the tadpole will gain power and growth, its size and speed become a bit of an issue, with a larger hitbox and a slower rate of movement balancing its higher attack power. If the player gets hit, the tadpole will revert to a lesser form and eventually burst when its life is expended. It's a neat risk-reward system that is critical when playing for a fast clear time, and by extension, the 4 achievements Tadpole Tales features. Tadpole Tales only really sports one single stage split into 3 phases. Each of these phases is punctuated with a boss encounter which presents a considerable challenge when compared to the smaller creatures the player will cross paths with. However, the overall difficulty is such that anyone at all can see the end of the game with very little in the way of practice or dedication. All in all, this is actually a pretty relaxing shmup which falls right in line with its overall theme, and that's alright. But for those looking for a little more out of this free title, an expert mode can also be opened up. Expert mode differs in that life is only awarded to players after defeating a boss. This means that the biggest form the player's tadpole can achieve can only be accessed if they play the first 2 phases flawlessly, which is a great way to incentivize players to own their skills and play with more finesse. With this in mind, Tadpole Tales will inevitably only have low to moderate staying power from a survival standpoint, making its small handful of achievements even more important. Regardless, it's still an excellent game to boot up for a chill, relaxing time, no matter the occasion. Tadpole Tales does feature a rudimentary scoring system which awards points for cleaning as many creatures as possible. There's nothing more to it than that really, but that also plays into Tadpole Tales' core simplicity. It won't get weighed down by anything more than it needs to be, which is a big part of its charm. There is a timed aspect to the game though, so maintaining the highest power level and saving all of the player's adversaries from toxic misery as quickly as possible, especially with regards to the game's bosses, will lead to the best results, and a Chivo or 2. Simple gameplay and scoring will allow players to really take in the real draw to Tadpole Tales, its excellent presentation. From its story to its audio visuals to its important environmental message, this is a game that does a lot of things right despite its brief playtime. Featuring a completely hand-drawn and animated art style that's just as cute as it could possibly be, this bright, cheerful game is just about as easy on the eyes as it can get. Everything from the backgrounds to the enemies features clean, colorful production and excellent detail. Not to mention the transformation between the toxified and clean critters is sure to get more than a swoon or two, especially with regards to the bosses. Well, they did anyways, especially with this here water sausage. Equally great is the sound production, with excellent effects and a super solid, catchy Super NES-style BGM. Big thumbs up on the music for sure. The whimsical story, easy to navigate point-and-click menus, the aforementioned unlockable expert mode, and the included achievements round out the super clean, emphasis on the clean, pun fully intended, presentation here. So, how does Tadpole Tales stack up? Let's take a look. Tadpole Tales controls well enough, but with only WASD controls, folks like us that play with a controller will want to bust out Joy to Key. Tadpole Tales is super easy but fun. Some of the achievements will require a good amount of skill though. But it's also very short, even by shoot-'em-up standards. However, it was still well worth the time we spent with it. An excellent hand-drawn approach to the game's design and animation give Tadpole Tales charm for days. An equally great sound quality in both its effects and music make this a game we love listening to as well. When it comes to its ingenuity, Tadpole Tales is as simple as it comes, but the life and growth system that it sports is pretty neat. Tadpole Tales costs a grand total of $0. That's also 0 quarters, 0 dimes, 0 nickels, and 0 pennies. Though I suppose there's no pennies here in Canada as it is anyway, so no matter. It's also 0 pounds, 0 rubles, 0 yen. You get the point. Tadpole Tales is basically cheaper than air, so anyone at all can get it. It therefore has excellent value by default. Everyone should play Tadpole Tales at least once. It may not be the hardest game around, and it may not have the kind of score system or depth as a Crimson Clover or a Dodonpachi, but that's not what this game is going for. Take care of the planet, appreciate the beauty of nature, and take a shower. No, I'm just kidding. Tadpole Tales gets a 4 out of 5. You can get Tadpole Tales for exactly nothing on Steam and itch.io today. Simply adorable. Imagine a full-fledged shooter in this style. Hopefully this isn't the last we'll see of these guys. Kudos to Pinnacle for just giving this game away. Now anyone can play it for themselves 100% risk-free. Now on to the next. We're diving into Task Force Campus on episode 296 of Bullet Heaven. 300 is approaching fast. We'll see you all in the next one.